tired of their racing thoughts, the tension in their body, the constant worrying about what could go wrong. And think about it. I work with many people that are married, that have children. So this is not just impacting them, this is impacting their loved ones. I mean, people who live with somebody who has racing thoughts, tension in their body, constantly worrying. It's not easy. And so their anxiety impacts the people around them. And I can totally understand why somebody would want their anxiety gone, or that they don't like their anxiety. But what if anxiety isn't the actual enemy? What if anxiety isn't just a mental disorder? What if anxiety is actually a driven, intense, misunderstood part of you, trying to protect you, and more specifically, trying to keep something old from resurfacing? Because when we look at anxiety through the lens of parts work, anxiety is not random. It has a purpose. If you really pay attention, anxiety usually has a few main jobs. It prepares you for danger. It warns you before you might be embarrassed or rejected. It pushes you to stay alert, to stay ready. So instead of asking, how do I get rid of my anxiety? We could just ask, what is this part of me trying to do for me? In the work that I do with clients, we break anxiety down into different parts of the system. For example, a lot of people have what I call a nervous part. This is the part that shows up before something important, such as a meeting, a conversation, trying something new. And you notice in your body, your heart starts beating faster, your stomach tightens, your mind starts racing, running through all the possible outcomes. See, that part is saying, pay attention, be careful, be prepared. This matters. And that part's not bad. It's trying to help. The problem is not that these parts exist. The problem is when they take over the system. When these parts move into the driver's seat. Instead of being a helpful part, they become the one making all the decisions. And that's when you can feel overwhelmed, stuck, anxious all the time. A lot of issues in the marriage. Not showing up the way you want to as a parent. Even with that said, the goal is never to silence anxiety. And it's definitely not to shame yourself for having it. The goal is to change your relationship to it. Instead of saying, I have anxiety, or I get anxious, I help people start saying, I have a part of me that feels nervous right now. See, that's a big shift. Because now you are not the anxiety. You're the one who's noticing it. You might start saying, I see that nervous part showing up right now. I know it's trying to help me to prepare. And just that awareness alone starts to create space. You're no longer fighting your system now. You're starting to understand it. What is this part protecting? Because in parts work, a nervous part, controlling part is usually protecting something more vulnerable underneath. Old experiences, old fears, old beliefs. Like I'm not good enough. I'm going to get rejected. I'm going to mess up. We call these deeper wounds exiles. They're the parts of you that carry pain that at some point wasn't safe to feel. Your system created anxiety to stay ahead of that pain, to make sure you never experience that pain again. And when you start understanding that, anxiety actually begins to make a lot of sense. It's not random. It's protective. And here's where things really start to shift. When anxiety is no longer running the show, it can actually become pretty useful. That nervous energy can become focus. It helps you prepare. It helps you stay sharp. But now, you are the adult who's leading your system in those parts, not the other way around.